Let's start with Newton's first law, often called the law of inertia. This law states that an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion continues in motion with the same speed and direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Imagine you're in a spaceship and you fire a cannonball into the vastness of space. Once the cannonball leaves the spaceship, no additional force is needed to keep it moving. It will continue on its path indefinitely unless something else like gravity or another object interferes. This is why in space objects can drift forever. The same principle explains why passengers in cars can suffer neck injuries during rear-end collisions. Their bodies want to keep moving at the same speed, but the car suddenly changes velocity. Headrests help by supporting the head, reducing the risk of injury. Newton's first law is all about understanding how motion works when forces are balanced or unbalanced. Now let's move to Newton's second law, which connects force, mass, and acceleration. This law tells us that the acceleration of an object depends on the net force acting on it and its mass, summarized by the formula F equals ma dollar. For example, if two forces act on a 2 kg object, 50 in east and 30 in west, the net force is 20 in east, so the acceleration is A equals Fm equals 22 equals 10 ms2 east. If you double the net force on a cart, its acceleration doubles. But if you double the cart's mass, its acceleration is halved for the same force. This law explains why a loaded truck accelerates slower than an empty one, and why rockets accelerate faster as they burn fuel and lose mass. Newton's second law helps us predict and calculate how objects will move when forces are applied. Finally, let's explore Newton's third law. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This means that forces always come in pairs. When you hammer a nail, the hammer exerts a force on the nail, and the nail pushes back with an equal force on the hammer. That's why you feel the impact in your hand. When a cannon fires a cannonball, the cannon recoils backward because the force on the cannonball is matched by an equal force on the cannon in the opposite direction. This law also explains why it's easier to walk on a carpeted floor than on a slippery one. The carpet provides more reaction force to your steps. In collisions, like a bicycle hitting a truck, both experience the same force, but the lighter object, the bike, undergoes a greater acceleration. Newton's third law is fundamental to understanding interactions in our world. To solve real-world problems using Newton's laws, we often use free body diagrams. These diagrams help us visualize all the forces acting on an object. For example, consider a 35 kg box being pulled by a rope at an angle. We draw arrows to represent the weight of the box, the normal force from the ground, the pulling force, and friction. By breaking the pulling force into horizontal and vertical components, we can calculate the frictional force and the normal force. Similarly, when pushing a lawnmower at an angle, the free body diagram helps us see how the applied force, friction, and gravity interact. These diagrams are essential tools in physics, making it easier to analyze and solve force problems step by step.